Preperation. Madam. Hey you all, how are you feeling? Yeah, I'm getting ready to teleport up to Quebec, and then I'm picking up a ride on a transporter ship to meet up with the Star Captain, Dread. Yeah, I'll be traveling along with Nick Boulay, farmer, Earth space creature. So, okay, I think I should be where I'm at now. Yeah, I think that's the right. I just gotta enter the right code. What is the code again? Is it this? Oh, I think that's.
Starting life support systems. Check. Verifying cooling system function. Check. Communication systems online. Data transmission in progress. Starting navigation system.
What's going on over here? Yeah. Okay. Same. Find out.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, let's take our seats. Everybody get buckled in. It's gonna be a ride. Let me tell you, in this episode, we're going to be talking about all kinds of things. Food tokens, Seasteaders, Terra Forming, NFTs, which I think are nitrogen fixing trees, right? Huh? Let's talk. Okay. I'm ready. Want to have a conversation? Let's get into it. Here we go with Spaceship Cruise. This is what, sit back, buckle, enjoy this conversation.
These space fries. They're made from greens grown on Mars. What? That's crazy. That's where we're going. Yeah, let's do this.
We're always going to have the need to feed ourselves, and the best way to do so, we're talking about exploring other planets and bringing life to Mars and doing all this stuff. But what's even better is that we can actually recolonize and recreate the Garden of Eden right here on Earth once again by having a bunch of these micro farms take over the food supply, the food network, the food distribution, and this is the concept that we're educating here at the farm, is that we want more small farms. we developed a business model that it's actually that a farm can start up with, let's say, anywhere from 1 to 5 acres and be completely self-sufficient and actually be able to make money and make the year. Because to be honest, to just be gardening and try to make the year with what you're planting and stuff, it's difficult. So we've added in microgreen production. I don't know if you've tapped into microgreens, but you know they're 9 to 60 times the nutriments of their fully grown counterpart, and they grow in 7 days. So for as a business model, it's excellent, because you know, you think about a tomato, it takes 180 days to grow a tomato, but microgreens are ready to go in 7 days, and they're superfoods. So we've been producing that as like our yearly income kind of thing. So we're pumping out microgreens, and we're focusing on our local community, because you know what I'm really trying to develop is just like get to know everyone that lives in my area, and have them know that we exist and we're here to provide them food like that. And that's how you kind of like you're bringing back like human like exchanges back trending. You know, like you're dealing with a human. You're not dealing with a grocery store anymore. You know, like
let's grow.
We even offer, you know, self-harvest. People can come get their vegetables directly in the garden. So it's like
let's grow. Yeah, let's get into it.
Fuck yeah.
Wake the farm up.
Yeah.
Holy, they're all coming down to the space station here. What's going on? Oh my, this is like, we're getting like flavors dripping in here as we get this thing going here. So I just wanted to cut into this little intro here. You know, this episode, we're going to dip our toes deep in the conversations and places you may have not gone in this realm. Conversations of AI. I remember when we began to use AI for the plant apps to support us in the field. Yeah, I remember that. You know, I remember when it was like linking through things like iNaturalist, and they can help us. Yep. Yeah. And in a new ecosystem, I'll identify a new species. And then the next thing I know, then it's up to me from there. You know, what I observe with it, what I do with that information in the three-dimensional world, that comes up from my own cognitive skills in place, and it's up to me here in this three-dimensional world. So I want to send it up here. You know, ultimately it comes from that, you know, some love in it, some hate it. You know, for the elves in nature, perhaps we acknowledge the new and understand it, and it's here now. AI and farms and breathtaking and in forms unreal. You know, the earth may actually need some cosmic leadership for what we're about to be looking into. You know, for today's Wake the Farm Up episode, we're going to be going on a ride with Star Captain Dread. Hey.
Some good jams you got going. Keep the flow.
Yeah, Star Captain Dread, he's the, you know, co-authored the first ChatGPT Permaculture AI authoritative collaboration. Let's see where this goes.
Well, we got the Permaculture 101 GPT, which is basically an AI that can teach permaculture like a course. It can help you to research permaculture, and it is trained on an ebook that I wrote called The Book of Permaculture, which you can purchase as an ebook for $2, or you can use the ChatGPT to interactively learn from this book, and it can teach you a lot of things, and it's helping to advance our research and development so that we can pursue implementing it on Nick's farm, and then being able to have outdoor permaculture that you can take indoor to an Arcology and then be able to reinstall into a new biome is essentially what we'll need to do to be able to take permaculture from Earth and install planetary scale permaculture on Mars. It's going to take a lot of research and development to get there, but in order to start that process, we can take it from outside on Nick's farm, put it inside into Nick's Arcology on his farm, and then learn how we can translate that back to a new environment. And then once we further understand the science and the research and everything else that we're going to need to be able to pursue to make that happen, we'll have a better understanding of how we can do that on other planets. So this kind of will help to form some of the base level research that will contribute to the long-term development of things like the Artemis project and the Artemis Accords, which is the expansiveness of 40 different nations going to build on the moon and beyond that collaboratively. So if we can learn how to do permaculture outdoors and then translate it indoors, we may be able to take that to the moon, and that might help us to provide a self-sustainable food source for us on the moon, as well as other planets in the future. But we've got to start the process in order for that to happen. So Nick's got a farm. I've got a lot of arcology research and development, permaculture research and development that the both of us have done, that we're combining in new and novel ways that hopefully can carve a new road for the future.
Yeah, man. I just want to add that we also have
Wake it up, Nicholas! Ladies and gentlemen, and everyone else, this is Nicolas Boulay. Let's go!
So yeah, man. So tell you a little bit about myself. So before doing this farming stuff, I was actually playing professional football up in Canada for 7 years. So COVID kind of like brought my retirement a little bit early, but it also got me into this farming stuff, and that's how I discovered this concept. So and I've I ended up mixing and matching a bunch of different concepts together to give us this waterless farming method. And it's so simple, a kid can do it. It's called the hogoculture. Okay, I don't know if you've heard about the hogoculture concept.
Yeah. Love
basically,
that.
all you do is you dig a hole and you fill it up with wood. That wood is your compost for the next 25 years, but it's also the active sponges, so they'll soak up all that humidity in the soil. And then when it gets really, really hot, they sweat that water out. And then what we do is that we then add in the root stout method. I don't know if you've heard about the root stout method, but that, long story short, all it says is cover your soil, protect it from the sun, prevent evaporation, and prevent the weeds from growing. So you can kind of like prevent the weeds from growing by putting mulch. So you put hay or straw or wood chip on top of your soil. You prevent that evaporation. But that stuff also decomposes over time. Hay and straw decomposes in a year. Wood chip is more like 3 to 5 years, but like that mixes in with your soil and it just decomposes and it brings back all these nutriments. So this is where the permaculture concept comes with it, because you just have this huge mound with an immense amount of nutriments, and it's waterproof. So in a sense that gravity happens, you have once you put your dirt back onto the logs, you have a little mountain. So even if it rains a lot, the water drips off the mountain. So you have less potential of plants drowning, having too much water, which is a problem for a lot of places where they grow. And yeah, so that's why I decided to use to leverage the Luna Classic blockchain, because it's the blockchain of the people. It's owned and governed by the people, and it's actually and it's kind of like what the captain was saying earlier. We're gonna need to be able to work together as a globe. And there hasn't been an entity or an organization or even an event that has actually included every single country in the world. Not even the Olympics does. Not every country is represented. But anybody can own Luna Classic by owning the coins. You are partial owner of the blockchain. And I feel like it's like the money owned and governed by the people. It's the currency we've all been searching for. It's literally there for us. It's decentralized. It's a layer 1 blockchain. So that's why I decided to build on it. And that's why Food Token is on Luna Classic, because we can help people directly. I can send money to somebody's wallet in 5 seconds, and it costs me a penny. And I'm sending money to Uganda and to Mali and all these places, man. And it's just we're making a real difference. It's not like Red Cross. We're like, oh yeah, we're gonna send you money and out of $1, maybe 2 pennies make it there. It's me sending directly to the farmer's wallet. There is no intermediary. It costs us a penny to do it, and that's how we make a real difference.
Originally the bank controlled the currency of the river.
Yep.
Thanks.
Makes a big difference when you can upstart people from a distance.
Yeah, I think that was Ruth Stout, like coming even from another time. That was crazy. She was like chilling out, planting some potatoes in her hay, you know, just like that's what I'm gonna do, and that's how it's gonna work. And it works.
Please do, and send me pictures. Like, it's literally that simple, bro. Like, I have 6 acres in production now because we added like 400 fruit trees last year, like on these agriculture mounds, like apple trees, prune trees, pear trees, blackberries, raspberries, freaking strawberries, any freaking berries you can think of. We planted them on these things, and everything's growing.
I can think of some fun ones.
Ever. I have never watered my garden in fucking 3 years. I am not even kidding. Like, all these globalists talking about global warming, bro. Like, we're gonna be doing this shit in Uganda and Kenya, and we're doing it in Africa already, and like they're growing food with no water in those places. You know how like that debunks that whole story? Like, we're gonna be able to provide food for generations to come easily.
Yeah, it's that cool culture, getting the mycelium under there in places that they can't just naturally get under there, and that underworld stuff, man. It's that underworld, and it comes up, and it goes down, and cycles all around. I love that, like your enthusiasm.
Whoa, chill out, elves. Okay, yeah, I got these edit elves. They start getting a hold of things and rewiring things in here, but they're stoked about what you're saying, and you're talking about it fast, too, you know, like an auctioneer up on the block, like, it's like amazing. I love how you got so much enthusiasm for it, and you're like somebody that's been keeping up with Andrew here. This is like, you know, the star captain is like this like fascinating like character that just comes into your life and like is helping you move some of this energy and getting things into different places, and you guys are bouncing off in the dreamscape, in the real world, the virtual world, all the worlds. And, you know,
Forward to the future, brother.
Yeah, I'd love to hear a bit about your guys' relationship and some of the things that you've collaborated on. I definitely like Nicholas. You've got like some bars and bars of the stories here, and like let's give the captain a chance. I know you're like the captain's like back here like plotting out some other courses and things right now as we speak, I'm sure.
Oh, he's got the whole plan of action. I just bring the food, but it's the most important asset in the whole world. So
yeah, we don't want it.
We're gonna live anywhere. We're gonna have to eat, bro. So, you know, as long as we got Nick running the permaculture farm, and we're moving towards developing arcologies that integrate that, we're gonna be able to take that onto the sea. We're gonna take that into the air, and eventually take that into space and other planets. So we got to start from the ground up. So might as well start from the soil. And you know, Nick and I, we encountered each other on X and started talking about permaculture, started talking about arcologies, and I myself also used to play football, not professionally, but you know, we started to vibe on that and started to talk about trying to build a team that will go and try to change things in the future going forward, and trying to create a movement that would make some of these things come from our conceptual ideas into our reality and manifesting it. So I myself have been researching arcologies since before about 2011. And in 2011, I started a project that was trying to promote in Toronto for people to come together to build a group of people or a community of people that would support the long-term development of an arcology in Toronto. And by doing that, I actually networked with a lot of the arcology researchers around the world, and tried my best to advance that research, collect as much information as I could. And I've been doing that, like I said, since about 2011. So I've been researching arcologies for almost 14 years now.
Thank you, baby.
And with all of that information, about a year ago, I wrote a book that put a lot of this information together, and I ended up promoting it with within a group that I was a part of called the Lifeboat Foundation, which is a think tank. And after I had written that book, they invited me to join the Space Settlement Board and the Human Non-Human Relations Board to talk about building in space and contact with extraterrestrials and how that would kind of play out. In 2015, after I had done arcology research for a few years, I had tried to organize people to organize a federal political party in Canada that would promote arcologies across Canada and also kind of related research. And so from that effort, it's continued to build. I've continued to network with people and build my library of information about permaculture, arcologies, and all of the different aspects of arcologies that a self-sustainable city-state would need. And I'm a game developer and a writer and AI researcher and developer. I've kind of wear multiple hats, and my research in those different fields has kind of given me a little bit of an edge on the industry, which has put me in a position to continue to advance this research. And by combining my work with good Sir Nicolas here, we're able to make some strides in that direction that are really pushing it forward. And I think that some of the research that we'll be doing in the future will be very eye-opening for a lot of people. Right now, our NFT project that we're working on, that's an arcology and permaculture NFT, is basically a means for us to promote 2 books that I've written, as well as promoting some courses that Nick is going to be providing about permaculture. So when people purchase our arcology NFT, you'll get 2 of my books, and you'll get video courses that Nick's going to be building to teach people and educate them about permaculture. And the books that are included are the Space Age Arcology book that I've written, as well as the book of permaculture. So by supporting the NFT, you're supporting our research and development of this. It's going to help us buy some new equipment and 3D printers so that we can start printing things that will help develop arcology research and help advance permaculture research.
Yeah, that's what I'm talking about. That's amazing. That's a lot of energy. Yeah. And, one, I wanted to, just like in a steady state here, just explain arcology. It's like in a nutshell, would you say a blend of architecture and ecology?
That's exactly what it means. You want to have a environmentally savvy living environment, so essentially it's a city that is self-sustainable. So it's a city that essentially uses permaculture within it in order to sustain itself. And because those 2 concepts are so integrated in that sense, it made a lot of sense for us to start working on this together. And I'm also trying to collaborate with other people around the world in other locations to advance arcology research on the ocean as well as in space.
So a lot of the research that you're doing, like if you were to research arcology on the ocean, you would be working with people in 3-dimensional space that are sharing information as well as researching anticipated designs and like what the situation might be for them and how they need to be, what kind of metals they need to be structured out of, etc.
Yeah, a lot of stuff like that related to engineering and the science behind it, but mostly at this point, permaculture on the ocean. Because permaculture on the ocean, if we can translate it from land to the sea, then we might be also able to do that further to the air and beyond that. I'm actually a member of the Seasteaders Institute, which is basically an organization that is looking to create some classification rules for housing on the ocean. So right now, they're kind of on a hiatus, and some future plans are being put together. But I do regularly contribute to some of the conversations within the Seasteaders Institute, and I'm part of the classification board that basically we're looking at how to advance housing on the ocean. And I'm bringing my experience and my knowledge in arcology research and permaculture research to the table and helping contribute there, as well as obviously with the Lifeboat Foundation contributing to the Space Settlement Board's research of ARC-1. ARC-1 is a space arc research project. And obviously, if we're going to live in space, we're going to need food. So we're going to need permaculture so that, we don't run out of food. It keeps growing itself. So a lot of this research integrates across multiple fields, and I'm helping to network people across those fields so that all of them can advance at the same time.
It's game time. Let's keep this handy.
If it bleeds, we can kill it.
I'm holding a box of Tic Tacs right now.
I say we take off and nuke the entire site from orbit.
Don't do that. Fuck 'em.
It's the only way to be sure.
You have a better idea? Got work to do. I need a weapon.
Something spooky from the stars that goes from far beyond Mars. Shadows creep.
You smell something? Holy shit!
Is it a demon? Cosmic shadow from beyond Earth?
Let me ask you something.
Killed us! What's up there?
Two dumbasses came all this way just to bleed all over the place.
Stars above you see. Need we be much more prepared? Need we be fierce? Not so scared.
That's it, man. Game over, man.
From the stars that up there move, zipping around they quick hello. Even the quickest of our eyes.
Permission to leave the station.
Those dots up in the skies. So long have they told us.
I am just a figment of your imagination.
Yeah. And there's like the way things are connecting there. It's the way the ecosystems work. So, it's like, it makes sense. You're like putting things together and, helping organize the structure of our vision of going forward as existence.
Somebody's got to build the roadmap. So put the captain on it.
Yeah.
I'll start building that map.
I love, I'm a conversationalist. I definitely enjoy this, like hearing what both of you have been sharing and like going into with it. And there's in conversations with a lot of people, I find there's people that are really interested in working on the historical aspects of our civilization, some that are really interested in the contemporary, and some that are really interested in the future. And a big theme here on the Wake the Farm Up has been Hope's Day preppers. I've been sharing permaculture education for more than 25 years on the earth. And along that way, I've heard a lot of doomsday prepper theories. And I feel a lot of enthusiasm here on integrating the human species into the ecology of the world and finding ways to design that and share that with other worlds. That's like, beyond just like a simple Hope's Day prepper that will be here alive, like able to eat some of the different berries and fruits and roots and nuts of the earth. It's like, can we, like, there's a place for people, and I've seen it with different studies show, that with like good permaculture, not only like design in the system, but an education in which people are working with these kinds of philosophies and flows and, understanding how their flows work in a way they kind of tune into their natural instinctual flow and vibe and energy and find that they're able to just exist like that. We brought up Ruth Stout earlier and how she's able to just like simply roll out some hay and put potatoes into the ground, and over time it builds up the soil, but in the meantime you're making some food too and moving energy in that way. And there's a lot that we need to lay out, these roadmaps, and I love that you go at it with the playful heart too of a captain, with this whimsicalness that is such a part of our humanity and part of who we are, and we want to bring that with us everywhere we go as we explore the data sheets and all of it. So yeah, I appreciate that whole vision and journey that you're laying out, and you're activating and making these things happen as well. So
raise the bars all the way to the stars, and then we jump for it.
all the way up.
All the way up.
Yeah, what do you need? Come on, let's go.
Yeah.
So tell us about your work, Andy. And the elves. Tell us about the elves.
Yeah, the elves. So we're like on this like elfie audio collection here of Wake the Farm Up, maintaining ground, and we like to build connections and grow and community. So, welcome to the family here of things, and I'll be looking forward to keeping up and encouraging and support. I'm going to encourage and support species in the big ecosystem. I like to find things that are going in the direction that's beautiful, and permaculture is a big part of it, but a big part for me is this like finding this flow in the niche of humanity and how we've been throughout the eons. We've like taken time to weave baskets together, sing songs together, laugh together, share stories, ideas, all of it. And it's something that I want to keep sharing, and sharing people's voices together as our community, as we're seeing each other, playing our different parts in the ecosystem, and growing and exploring our consciousness.
I'm all about that life, though.
Yeah, much of what I know comes from the three-dimensional world. So for my background, it's been more of a like hands-on in this three-dimensional world, moving plant energy and like moving, to a point where I've been at my little homestead for about 15 years, and I don't even need to put in an annual garden anymore. Maybe I'll plant a few because some friends gave me some varieties. But there's, like you said, there's so many berries. Like today I was eating aronia berries, and, I've walked, I have so many like blackberries coming right now, and there's these different peaches that I grow that grow true to their own seed. They're not even grafted or anything. They just spread out, and I just know if the earth is like, this place could inoculate so many places with food forests, with food that is growing true to seed. The seed will grow true to its parents, and that's, I have a few grafted varieties of things, but mostly true to seed and things that'll spread on their own or from like root divisions easily. And yeah, there's squirrels here. They plant things for me at this point. Like I've had gooseberries planted up in the tree crotches of maple trees. They're just like drooping out from the tree crotch.
They're hiding it on you.
It's like
outstanding.
It's like the elements.
That's awesome.
Getting into the flow and like finding that flow, is like how it's like not that inconceivable that we would all flow together into this conversation. It makes sense.
Everything makes sense. I don't believe in hazard. Everything happens for a reason.
Yeah, no, I figured you two guys would jive pretty good, and Nick and I, we talk all the time. So I felt like it would be a really good connection for you guys to connect, because you both work on the farms. I'm more of the tech support and research support, but eventually one day I hope to have a farm myself too, in which case I'll be pushing that permaculture hard.
Yeah.
We'll see. I'm trying to get that Eco Village accepted. Maybe if I get that accepted, I can have a piece of land ready for you.
That's good.
We're gonna make it cool.
So
move to bike plan.
Yeah, Nicholas, will you share with us a bit more about your farm and your works? Like, I'd love to, like, I know I shared a little bit about myself, and I'd love to catch up with you guys and share more. I do feel like I hear myself on my shows a lot, and I'm trying to amplify and share your guys' story now. So I'm like, I want to hear about like your farm and like, how that's flowing with you, and, then maybe break into like a little bit more of your other projects that you're doing, just like in a quick, like little flow that, doesn't have to be quick, take your time. We're easy. We're on a ship right now, and I'm not, too inclined to jump off that fast anyway.
Yeah,
cruising through time and space.
I've always been all about efficiency. The most important asset of a farmer is his time, and money. What is money? Money is just a means of an exchange, right? It's just something you exchange for something. So if you can just eliminate the money and exchange services or goods for other services or goods, then you can save your money for other things. So when I started building this farm, that's kind of always been my concept. And we had like futuristic, ideologies. And I tried the whole, permaculture with, water drip system my first year. And, I did the calculations and stuff. It's nuts. Like a drip system will take up 9 gallons a day, let's say, for like an 1,800 square foot garden. And you run it, let's say, half the days of the summer. Here in Canada, we get about 100, I don't know, maybe 100, 200 days of farming, tops, maybe 180.
Nice.
So so let's say you water 90 days and you do 9 gallons a day. That's a lot of gallons, man. That's like 800 gallons of water during the
Water
summer
bill's gonna go up.
that you're just throwing into the ground. And then that same year, I had made a little Hogaculture that was like 4 foot by 10 foot, and like it was like a drought summer. It was dry, it was hot, and I didn't water this thing all summer long. I'm like, why the fuck are we farming like this? So I was like, I'm going to do this on a large scale. So I did like a half an acre, and I incorporated also mandala circles. So all our gardens are in circles because circular energy, right? You talk about the flow. Everything that's circular flows with nature, flows with everything. So we actually, the fruit forest down in the front that we built last year is actually the cube of Metatron. I don't know if you know that symbol.
Wow.
But it's like, and every circle is planted by harvest time. So the first circle is like month of May, the second circle is month of June, but like every circle just has a bunch of fruits intercrop together. So it's just going to grow into this like magnificent food forest. Wow. And we're utilizing the big circle all the way around the 7 circles to build like we have olfactory barriers. So we plant like stuff that's like, that smells a lot, like garlic and oregano, and we put like rose bushes and we put thyme and like stuff that's perennial that comes back every year as well. So you don't have to redo it every year, but garlic you have to plant it. But like
don't forget catnip, baby.
Really good
don't forget catnip. Don't forget the catnip.
Yeah. I put a lot of garlic. I had to do a lot of that with the garlic out every one of my little fruit trees because I got a lot of voles and moles, and I found that if I put some garlic cloves around them, they leave it alone, and I just leave the garlic in the ground, and it comes up every year. And when I want garlic, I pretty much can go out and dig some now anytime I want. There's some form of allium, Yeah.
That's crazy. Yeah, so we utilize that, the olfactory barriers. We're trying to do the same thing. It's a large scale, so it's going to be done over time. We're planting as we go, and it'll grow and it'll take its time, but like eventually it'll be freaking beautiful. But that's the thing with it. With even all the projects that we're building, it takes time. It's like growing a seed. It takes time.
Generational projects, and every time you do it, you learn more each year. And every season, your research improves, and eventually, we're able to translate that. So, it's going to be really helpful for people in the future when we can really nail down the science behind a lot of this technology and a lot of this farming capacity, that we can share it with other people, and and obviously share that with other places and eventually other planets.
Fuck yeah!
A few moments later.
Yeah, I think that's incredible. Captain, I hope that we can keep in touch. I do have some birds that can deliver scrolls, here and there, and we'll keep up,
Oh, for sure, man, for sure. This is just the beginning. Things are getting started. We're definitely going to keep on going. And I think that if you spend some more time in the X spaces, you'll find some people in here that are very interesting characters with some really cool ideas. And there's definitely a lot of doomers that are out here. I'll tell you that much. There's actually a couple spaces I'll recommend to you afterwards. But there's a lot of people that research a lot of different topics that are starting to host spaces and talk about these things and really grow their audience. And I see this as definitely something we can do again in the future. And hopefully, we'll have more of an audience. This was more of a test run to see how things would go, and to get you on the platform here. And I think it's going great. And I'm happy to have connected with you and to have brought you aboard, because I think that the future is looking very prosperous for us.
I always try to remember to ask permission to board, you know, so that's why I kept being like, hey, permission to board. And you're like, yes, we got this course set out and it'll be at 7:43. And next thing I know, I'm out there, you know, and we're like, there's no planks to walk, you know, just a lot of upward dogs, you know, it's been good.
Nah, you don't need to walk no planks there, brother. You're welcome to sit with us and chill with us, kick back.
Yeah, a lot of times, you know, like when I was exploring doing this whole like podcast sequence, you know, when I first was coming at it, I didn't have a whole lot of technological experience, and I felt like I was like some kind of Jedi sitting there while Han Solo and Chewbacca were like running around, like hooking up different like cords and different things like that to make everything work right. And I just knew I had to keep coming at it with like, you know, doing the things that I do. And that's, you know, only thing I can do. And, you know, permaculture and creating art and like helping educate and, you know, gathering this consciousness, like, so that people can come to these things like real, like quick and like instinctual. Like I'm fascinated for you. Like, when did you first come across like permaculture? Was it Nicolas coming and telling you some of this cool stuff that he's been working on?
I think it was actually more, I was doing some research on permaculture and looking for other people that were really dug into it. And we came across talking. I can't exactly remember how we started talking, but, you know, we connected on a post somewhere at some point, and, you know, ended up talking about some things, and we seemed to have some mutual interests. So we had a phone call and found that there was a lot of mutual interests, and that some of the things I was working on would really help him, and some of the stuff he was working on would really help me. And we said, well, hey, let's figure something out here, because we can make some shit happen, you know. He's a football player, and I'm also a previously football player, so I felt that there was a little bit of a connection there. And I said, well, hey, we got to build a team, you know, and if I'm going to have a team, we got to get team players in it.
Oh, man.
Nick's a very, very good guy for that role.
So Nick, like, I want you to jump in here. So you guys both played football and kind of have like a football gameplay kind of action, like energy in it, you know, like all of a sudden I'm like, you know, I was just jumped into the locker room. You know, Nicolas, will you share with us some of the things that you feel like the interaction with Captain's skills coming at you, how they've helped you implement what your vision is and like your journey of building more food systems and whatnot? I love that focus, you know, wake the farm up.
Yeah. So, you know, playing on a team, you learn that you got to know your role. You got to know your job, and you got to trust the man next to you. So I feel like that's probably why Captain and I work so well together, is because, you know, he's off working on what he needs to be working on, and then I'm building, you know, the permaculture, and once again, I keep talking about utilizing the crypto space, because
go into that a little bit more. Like, so like I don't totally understand that, and that's okay, you know.
No, I'd be happy to teach you, because I think it's extremely important. So this blockchain is owned and governed by the people. It's called Luna Classic, and it was at one point Luna was one of the top cryptos in the world, and there was this attack that made the coin crash, and it was abandoned by its owner and given to the community, which the community kept it alive, and is now owned and governed by the people. So it's the one true blockchain.
Whoa.
And it's fantastic, because it's not like Ethereum or Bitcoin or all these things. We have 130 computers running our whole blockchain, a set of validators that are running the blockchain, and it's not like Bitcoin with millions of computers.
Yeah, it's way more efficient. Wow.
Absolutely. Ethereum, you're paying about $20 a transaction for anything. I can send money across the world. Luna Classic, I can send it once again. Like we've helped in Uganda, we've helped in Mali and in Kenya, and I'm sending money to these places in 4 seconds for a penny. You know, it's nothing, and they're receiving the money directly into their account, and then it's peer to peer. It's like the best blockchain you can have, and the more we utilize it, and the more we we have acceptance with it, and the more we use it, the more we can
cut it.
be
Come
free
back
of
in.
inflation, right? Because a blockchain, I'm sorry?
Yeah, you cut out there for a second, but
So
it's good.
this blockchain is, sorry, no. So saying that this blockchain just it doesn't have inflation. You can't just print money. It's just not like the government, right? So that's the idea of blockchain technology, and you can build on it indefinitely. So this is why we build Food Token on Luna Classic. So it's built on the Luna Classic blockchain, but Food Token, we use the funds that we get in transaction fees to fund farmers across the world and do that, and we're able to do that because of this blockchain, right? So and you can just buy the token, and that's one of the things that we have on our blockchain. We have a token factory, so we even created a token for the Arcology project. It's called Lunarc, and we're going to be using it as well to transaction fees to fund the research that we're doing. And we'll have the NFT project. Once again, it's on the Luna Classic blockchain. You can get this NFT on there, and you'll be able to have the books that come with it. The Arcology books. You have the Permaculture book. You have the Permaculture courses, and you have it's 1,000 unique NFTs that were designed by the captain. And so it has a lot of utilities, and we even have staking rewards for the NFTs on Miata. So that's also interesting because you actually have an NFT that has in real life utility. You get ebooks, and you get some nice rewards on top of that. So yeah, I feel like there's a lot to be done on this blockchain. I think it's one of the first global collaboration project. There has nothing ever been done to this scale. On Luna Classic is the one blockchain that's uniting the world, and I feel like food unites the most, right? Like when you think about anything, having a good time, you're talking about friends around the table. You remember the good food. It was a good time when we were doing this. So food unites. Food is essential to life. So that's why we build Food Token on Luna Classic, and that's why we utilize this, because food is also power. Food is freedom. Food is
liberation.
Yes, because everything going on around the world. Like, what happens if everything breaks tomorrow? You got to be able to feed yourself, and you need a way that's easy to do it. Nobody has time to do hours and hours and hours and hours of research on how to farm. So we've developed a concept that anyone can do around the world with no water, and just farm an immense amount of food for themselves and their community. Like, just it's so primal. It's such a primal need. Whether you're a tree, a bug, a deer, you need food. If you're a living creature, you need food, and it's one of the most downplayed, unlike the most important profession in the world.
I feel that.
We barely think of it. It's just there. We just expect it to be there, but there's hard work that goes into making every one of those plants grow.
Yeah, where's the food at? Where the food at?
Absolutely.
Like, everybody wants to, like nobody wants to plant the corn, but everybody wants to raid the barn. That's the old classic. There's I'm like going into consciousness expanding. Like you said, food's easy for everybody to get. But when we start talking into different types of currency that are being created in this world to work with, it's very fascinating. It definitely takes a lot of imagination and contemplation. You check out, Captain's ethical and moral compass, and see what, things are pointing in the directions. It's, there's a lot to it. I feel that energy going into it. It's hard for my mind sometimes to even expand and understand some of these things, and yet I'm trying. You know what I'm saying?
Trying is the way to make it happen.
Get some psychedelic mushroom, and it'll help you.
Eat some, see, if I eat some psychedelic mushroom, learning about NFTs and Bitcoins and alternate currencies, like I probably would be like where you're at talking about food. I'd be off in the forest somewhere and I'd be like climbing trees and looking at the caterpillar climbing underneath the leaves and having a full on conversation with it, trying to get it to be on my podcast or something, like to tell me about it.
But dude,
That might be an
I'm sure
interesting
you've seen
podcast.
some research on psychedelic and the benefits it can have for even your brain. It's one of the only thing in the world, along with lion's mane mushroom, that regrow brain cells. So it makes you smarter. So, people have been taking it as medication and microdose, like you're taking like a 0.1 gram a day.
Helps to regrow brain cells.
Yeah. So it's one of the only things that have been as shown to reverse Alzheimer's disease. Same thing with lion's mane. Once again, it's too much. The lion's mane is a gourmet mushroom. I'm sure you know of it.
Yeah. We love talking about mushrooms on this show.
Yeah.
Mushrooms
are the bomb.
The elves love it, man. It's their hangout spot.
Hell
yeah.
Yeah, we just ate some.
I bet you guys did.
Yeah.
Yeah, we've been harvesting chanterelle mushrooms around here recently. It's been their little season of sporing and floating around and doing their thing. Their little glorious golden trumpets coming from the green luster.
Yeah, we harvested some as well. We got
another visitor that's come to join our conversation. Watchman, if you want, I can bring you up. You can have a microphone.
Yeah, we'd love to hear what watchmakers got. Like are we going to have a watchmaking session here real quick? What's going on?
It's time to discuss the watchmaking.
Thanks for watching, watchmaker.
Yeah, you'll probably want to go back and listen to the part about hugel culture and roost out. Yeah. Don't forget to plant.
Sounds like you got into those mushrooms again there, bye.
No, yeah, but if you want to hear about it, it's so simple. The hugel culture concept. It's so easy. A kid can do it. You dig a hole, you leave the dirt next to it, and then you fill it up with wood. And then you grab your dirt and you put it back on top. So your wood acts as a sponge, soaking up all the humidity in the soil and decomposes over time. It turns into rich, nutritious soil. And then what happens is that, when it gets really, really hot, the logs sweat the water out into the soil. And what we do is we add the root stout method, which pretty much says cover your soil with something. So either hay, straw, wood chip, or grass clippings directly. If you cut your grass, you just throw it on top of your mound. That prevents evaporation of your soil, and it creates a condensation effect with the sun that's beaming down on the hot hay and the moist soil beneath it. That's just is creating that nice, hot, humid space where insects can thrive and mushrooms can thrive, which mushrooms decompose, that topsoil over time. That hay decomposes in a year, so it brings back more nutriments into your soil. So you just have this rich mound that you can just utilize to plant any food in there. And we've been utilizing this concept and implanting it in countries across the world, and funding them to do it via food token. And and so it's literally that easy. And you look like a professional farmer from because everything just grows so easily. You just plant it in there and you let it go.
Yeah. So where I'm at, they call me a big gardener where I live, but when I drive to a city market or something, they call me a farmer. It's interesting. It's one of those things where I'm an elf where I'm just fine with people calling me whatever they need to, it's like for me, sometimes it's almost like the purpose is beyond the words, because there's words and there's a lot of cool things, but there's things that are real that don't even have any words. And maybe that's one of them, maybe it needs a word, maybe it doesn't. I don't know. There's ideas and thoughts that come past us, while we're out in the garden, maybe, they have words for them. Maybe they don't, but you still see them like little squiggles flying by and little wiglets of, energy, and they inspire you and bring you into different directions. And there's just this whole roll into, observing, like once you make some hugelkultur, observing the different kinds of trees and their different rates of decomposing and how you can structure that, if you lay them like vertically as opposed to horizontally, like what does that do with the water cycles and the mushroom passes they find their way through? And there's a, chop and drop. I love the chop and drop.
In the bottom. You put your thicker stuff in the bottom and you put some smaller stuff on top. So, the smaller stuff will decompose first, and then you have all those digestive enzymes who can decompose the bigger logs. But honestly,
it's almost like setting a fire when you have, you got your big logs underneath and you got your kindling on top.
Yeah, you're setting a fire for the underworld.
Yeah, exactly. And hardwood will last you longer. But it's, you can go with softwood, like, pine trees and stuff. It's good. It's just, instead of lasting you 25 years, it'll last you like 10 to 15, So going with hardwood, and it can be decomposing material, it can be rotten. It's good because those rotten logs already have the enzymes, right? So you can mix it in with some other, fresher wood or whatever, and it'll decompose, and it'll be super nice, rich and fertile for years to come.
Love that.
It'll spread the goodness to the other ones.
Yeah.
So when I've made them before, where I lay a spine into it of black locust, which doesn't really rot for a long time, but then there's things like tulip poplar, they like rot really quickly, and I know things will sink where they are a lot quicker, like as like the decomposition happens. But there's also fascinating things, just like exploring different foods. The termites that you might find in a hugelkultur pile are amazing. If you have spots that the soil washes off for a bit and a little piece of wood is sticking out, that'll often be infected by termites. And termites are actually incredibly edible. And if you can get chickens on them, if you don't want to eat them yourself, it's a wonderful protein source for the chickens that is just natural. And I've explored other things like that because I'm just the kind of elf that doesn't want to have to go to a store or go and have to purchase things. I like to use that alternate currency, kind of like we were talking with, natural flows. So I might like take some old cabbages, throw them in a bucket with holes in them. And as the flies come to them and they turn into maggots, they drip out of the holes. And then the chickens can come around and eat them at that time of the year. And, if I really got into it, I could make excess, just from scooping up some roadkill nearby, putting it in buckets and harvesting the maggots and dehydrating them for cold times or for other moments when you need some extra proteins, even for yourself. I mean, a lot of these things are edible. Again, it's a consciousness expanding, like what is our protein sources? I know a lot of people do fear the idea of eating bugs, but it's it's a really simple thing. And, a lot of people all over the world actually do eat them. And, why not? Some of them taste really good. My favorite are ants, like in a pine forest off of a pine tree. They kind of taste like pine nuts with a little spice to them.
And learn what you have learned.
This rate, we're never going to win. Calm down, Jerry.
Something spooky from the stars that goes from far beyond Mars. Shadows creeping in the dark. Is it a great cosmic shock? Far beyond Earth, is there a scare? How few do fear what's up there? Are they looking down on we? All those stars above you see. What is their deeper agenda? Are they truth or more pretender? What messages are they a sender? One where we are the ascender. Pose a threat agenda.
That's it, man. Game over, man.
With
Game over.
Cosmic propaganda.
I am just a figment of your imagination.
Raining on our land. Raining on our land. What is their deeper agenda?
Holy shit!
I am just a figment of your imagination.
Tell that.
Bye.
from the stars, echoes from far beyond Mars.
You're acting like a freaking lunatic. Calm down.
Is it a great cosmic shock? Far beyond the stars, how few do fear what's up there? Are they looking down on we? All those stars above you see. What is their deeper agenda? Are they truth or more pretender?
Fuck those people.
That's it, man. Game over, man. It's game over.
Raining on our land. Raining on our land.
Intriguing.
I'm not
Welcome.
gonna judge, man. You do what you gotta do.
Welcome to the name below who I cannot quite pronounce.
Oh, we have a new one.
We're talking about arcology and permaculture in the space. Welcome aboard. Watchmaker, you seem like you've jumped up on the speaking panel. Feel free to join us in the conversation.
What you got to say? We're here to hear.
Yeah, I just yeah, hi guys. So I want to learn about permaculture. That's why I joined.
I love that. So what brings you intrigued to want to learn about permaculture, and what aspects of it are alluring to you?
There are like many things like organic food, man, and self-reliance. You know.
Yeah.
Yeah, and it's good for environment. No no fossil fuel for your food, right? That kind of stuff.
Yeah, tell us about your environment. What kind of ecosystem do you inhabit?
So I'm in Canada right now, in Ontario. So.
Oh, nice. Where about are you in Ontario? I'm in Quebec.
I'm in southern Ontario.
Oh, nice. So you can grow some peaches and stuff over there.
Oh.
Yeah.
Well,
but I don't have
to
land here, so
concept. Watchmaker. I dropped the Telegram group down there, and I have like a cheat sheet. It's the 7 concepts that we utilize here, permaculture concepts, and we just I can drop it in the group for you. I can't send documents in here for some reason. So,
I posted it up to the nest. If you post it down in the pill at the bottom, I can put it up in the nest.
Okay.
Yeah, for the Wake to Farm Up, we'll have some shows in the footnotes when this gets produced. Yeah, and so Watchmaker, we are recording. Appreciate you being here and sharing your intrigue and your inspiration.
Yeah, and I'd be happy to help. Honestly, like I do it with everybody around the world. The reason we started with the countries in Africa and stuff is because $500 for say is like a month's salary for them. So it goes a long way. But I'm always here to help. I'm just here to spread the love and spread this concept across the world, because it's literally that simple. You dig a hole, you throw some wood in there, and you cover your soil with something. It's so easy, a kid can do it. I keep saying it, but it's really that easy. And what's cool about Canada is that wood is free here, and excavation companies have to pay to get rid of it. So what you do is you pick up the phone, you call your local excavation company, you tell them you need some wood, and they will come bring it to your house for free. And if you're a good, at bargaining stuff, they cost $500 to $600 a truck. So if you need an excavator job to dig your holes and stuff, you can, tell them I need 20 trucks, and you give me 2 hours of work, and you get all that stuff done for free, and you have your garden for the next 25 years. So it's literally that simple, man. One man's trash is another man's treasure. In Canada, wood is literally trash. They don't know what to do with it. They just go and they bury it, and they don't know what they're doing with it. But I'm just sharing a secret, is that wood is your compost for your next 25 years. and it's also your sponges, so you don't have to water your garden ever. I have 5 acres in production here, and I have never brought a hose to my garden. I've never watered anything. And you know how much time I save? You know how much money I save not buying an irrigation system, all this stuff, running hoses everywhere. It's like
so much.
Nobody's got time to go water. Like I had to go water my wife's mother's garden in Sherbrooke. It's like 30 minutes away from here. So I had to go do that twice this week. I'm like, why the fuck do people do this?
Right?
I'm like, what's watering? I'm like, I've done this for 3 years.
It feels archaic, you know? It's like, especially when you live somewhere where it rains. I mean, it's like, you know, just like there's going to be some rain. And, you know, it's good in understanding your soil, too. You know, I got a lot of clay in my soil, and knowing that, it retains, too, even when it hasn't rained in a while. It'll just keep, you know, holding some moisture there, and the plants can access that. I also know some places might be too clayey, and then when it rains a whole lot, that they might be overwhelmed. But that's why we're getting into these perennial plants, the ones that are adapted to that and can have their own ways of creating enough oxygen, making more lenticels on their bark or whatnot to, you know, exist in the more wet, damp climate. And then they'll be more versatile through different seasons that are wetter or colder and all the different things.
Especially if you're doing selective breeding to make them stronger specifically for that purpose, right?
Yeah.
Absolutely.
And I'll tell you what, we are what we eat. There's like, I don't know, I'm really into like foraging, and there's one that comes up for me that's fascinating. There's the wild mustard garlic. It's often, you know, looked at as a bad invasive, and, you know, I eat it. And in the wintertime here, it comes up just enough green that you can harvest it. And there's a property in it that actually can lower the freezing temperature of water. And knowing my body's mostly water, I feel that if I'm consuming this, that it's going to keep me warmer, and I'll be the last guy to freeze to death when it's really cold outside. You know, that's what, you know.
Saying you got antifreeze blood.
Yeah, I'm trying to, you know, up my game, you know, like up my stat points, you know, like, okay, 8 mustard garlic.
That's gotta be some sort of elf buff there, buddy.
Yeah, there's like, I think some agility points that come into it too, you know, just like when you're eating natural things that have more natural silica and the MSM compounds in them that go to our connective tissue and, you know, keep us nimble so we can be our animal creature selves out here. And that's, you know, that's a lot there.
Instinctual power.
I'm all about that, man. Do you have Plant This, that app on your phone that you can just identify any plant? I freaking love this app. It's been like, because I didn't know agriculture until like 2019. So I was, you know, I studied in finance. I knew nothing about farming. My family has never really taught me farming. So I started with literally no experience in farming. So
sorting it, yeah.
So like that app has like helped me, like, you know, recognize all these plants and learning that this one's medicinal and this one is a food and this one is this and this one's that, and like you realize all these plants can heal like all these problems, and you're telling yourself, why are we, you know, spraying pesticides and spraying all these, you know, these plants and all these freaking dandelions that can heal cancer and like, you know, that can also provide you with food and all this other stuff. It's crazy.
You know what's the most awesome part about that story, Nick, is that it was only 3 years ago that you were the student, and now you're teaching people. Yeah, and that's how quickly things can change. You can level up, and if we can create more teachers that are able to do that, the world's gonna change so fast, man.
Share it. Fast, bro. Share it. Yeah, I'm so happy to connect with both of you guys and to share in this like collection, and I hope to keep building and again maintaining ground. Like, love to do another recording in our future. We'll, you know, we could even pick into some of these topics, you know, and even just like expand into like arcology for like a whole episode, you know, if you want to. And I really liked how this was like a really cool, chill intro with the three of us. I loved how we've given each other enough space to talk with each other. We've had some guests, even in the watchmaker. What's up? And
he's got his hand up. He's got something to say.
Yeah, and so it's like I feel like it's time for the Wake the Farm Up, to take a little launch here, and I'm gonna jump off and explore this planet over here that seems to be calling me right now, and I'll get back with you guys and report with the different data spreadsheets
Watchmaker's
and
got his
charts
hand
and
up.
all the things like that, and we'll be able to up our game on it. And I appreciate being in contact, Captain. Appreciate being in connection with you guys. Nicholas, you're amazing. Look forward to seeing how it goes. Let's grow.
Let's grow.
Everybody give a round of applause for these homies. Come on, they've been putting into work. Let's do it.
All right. Elf gotta get out of here. Elf takeover. Let's go, guys. Yeah, let's do it. Yeah, what are you gonna do about it anyway? Andy the Elf, get out of here. We're taking over. Hey, what's up, guys? You still here, right?
Watchmaker. Yeah, I want to hear what Watchmaker has to say. He's got his hand up.
Let's go, Watchmaker.
Yeah, so I have like a question. Like I'm in Canada, so Nicole, you said you were here in Quebec, right?
Yep.
Yeah, so but I don't own any land, so you have any tips on how to find like land for
Yeah, it's a good question. Are you in like a suburban Ontario, or are you more like in the city?
In a suburban environment.
Okay. Well, honestly, do you have neighbors that have land? Do you live in a cohabitation right now, or honestly, you need a patch of grass? It's really that simple. But honestly, okay, here's a solution. So you can replicate this concept in a just in a big tub, in a big bucket, or a big what do you call that?
Tupperware bin.
A bin, yeah, a big square bin. That you can fit on your porch, or you can fit somewhere like that, and you replicate the same thing, but on a smaller scale. So you'll put like small branches at the bottom, then you put some leaves, and then you can put some straw. You can even put some cardboard boxes in there. And then you put your dirt back on top, and then you put your soil cover. So you do the same thing on a smaller scale, but so you can do it, on a porch. So you can start small scale like that. At least start producing some food now for yourself. Like radishes can grow in about 30 days. Some salads can grow, in a couple of days. And even better, maybe I have a better solution for you, is microgreens. Microgreens grow in 7 days. And they can be grown really, really fast, and they can be also sold, for a good amount. Like a plateau of microgreens 10 by 20 markets itself anywhere from like, in Ontario, I would say anywhere around $25 to $35, and a cost for one plateau is around $4. So you're making extremely good margins on those, because seeds cost nothing. That's the thing. You can buy a lot of seeds for extremely cheap and produce a lot of food for a long time. So, and you gotta buy the right seeds, though. You gotta get the non-GMO, organic, freaking
organic.
Yeah,
don't organic, but you gotta get the patriarchy seeds or whatever. Matriarch seeds.
Don't
that,
cut.
Like, never been fucked with seeds.
Don't cut no corners. Don't cut none.
Heirloom seeds.
Yeah.
You know it.
Heirloom. This is.
Yeah, heirloom seeds. There you go. We got it. That's the word I was looking for.
Yeah, there we go. So this is Bruce Stout.
Nick lives in Quebec, so he's got two different languages bouncing back and forth through his mind all the time.
So
I think that could work on a small scale, but like on a larger scale is to get maybe a neighbor, a friend, and
connection.
You have a piece of land. We could grow some food, and
that's what I'm talking about.
And And would you give us, 10 foot? That's all I need. That's what I'm telling you. Like even like a 4 foot by 10 foot horticulture mound, I am telling you, you will be surprised the amount of food you can plant in there. And that's what you want. You want diversity. So you're going to be intercropping a bunch of stuff together. So tomatoes and peppers, and you can plant some onions with them. You can plant carrots with all those as well. And then you can do the Three Sisters concept, which is corn, squash, and beans. So now all of a sudden you got all this food growing, and then you can have a bunch of herbs and spices and flowers throughout that to bring the bees and stuff. And it just looks like a freaking jungle, but it's a food jungle. Everything is food in there. So and you never water it. You never water it.
Yeah, let me tell you something too. It's like you mentioned that connection to the neighbor or something. Another way I go about it sometimes when I'm traveling around, I'll go and look up whatever city I'm in and I'll type in on the internet. I'll be like, Quebec permaculture group. And then all of a sudden there's a group there that live where I live that are interested in it. And maybe somebody there could be intrigued into collaborating with you and sharing your energy together, growing some food, and maybe they have some land. Maybe they have some
Or
land.
if there isn't one already, you could always start one too, right? And that's another way that networking has a lot of power. And you might jump into a space like this, and it inspires you to go start a space and start a network in your local community. And bam, a couple weeks later, you guys are all starting to grow your own.
Yeah, how's that feel? How's that feel,
real,
watchmaker?
Stay in contact. Get in the Telegram group I sent you below, and we'll be able to stay in contact, or just DM me directly on Telegram on X. But I want to make sure this happens. You need to grow some food, and I'll be happy to coach you.
Let's get it together.
No, that's good. That's helpful information. Space.
Yeah, man. It's gonna be necessary tomorrow. We're gonna need people growing a shitload of food because like cities like Toronto and Montreal, like people don't realize it, but if like everything snaps tomorrow, they have 1 week's worth of food. 1 week. What's gonna happen after that? People are gonna go crazy.
They're gonna move to the farms.
Exactly. They're gonna have to go find somewhere there's food, right? So. And so
we gotta learn how to eat acorns. You gotta eat acorns. I mean, come on, you gotta learn it. They're everywhere.
Acorns.
There's just a simple process. Come on, let's enjoy the process. Trust the process. Enjoy the flow. Let's go. Acorns are everywhere. Isn't that right, guys? Yeah. We love acorns.
I think that that grows over time, man. I tell you what, I have daily lessons from the garden. It is nuts. I'm getting coached by life every day, being taught lessons in the garden. I'm sure you're the same. What's your name, Farm Whack? I don't know what your
my name is Harry.
There we go.
Harry, nice to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Harry. Do you make watches?
Same here, man.
Do you make watches, sir?
Do you make watches for real though?
No, it's just I always keep changing my name and.
Oh, gotcha. Okay.
Yeah, to express myself.
I was really impressed. I was thinking, this guy makes time. We need time. So maybe there's some realm there.
I had a great grandfather who made clocks in Sweden.
Grandfather time? What's up?
Oh.
Captain,
that's
Captain
good,
is spawn of
but
grandfather time?
I want to learn to make watches or at least fix the watches. Italy.
It definitely is a fascinating engineering topic.
Oh, yeah.
Yep.
Sure.
Yeah, talk about some gear. You gotta get
Talk
your
about
gear
Arcology
together.
gears. So, did you guys know trees give you electricity? I just recently found that out. So I'm going to be working on you add an electrode into the tree. You put an electrode into the ground, and you connect it to a freaking battery, and you can harvest electricity from trees. And I'm actually going to be working on developing a few different concepts to actually potentialize that energy to multiply it. But all in all, I think it's sustainable way of electricity. It's fluctuating electricity. It's the electricity that comes from a tree is like a pulse, like kind of like a heartbeat, right? So
Yo,
it's not.
you know what would be really cool?
Electricity. Huh?
If you could have a battery that hooked up and the tree charged a battery during the day and then it used like an LED night or LED at night so that it kept it in a 24-hour light cycle.
Yeah,
that'd be mad.
that's exactly what I saw. The guy in Kenya is doing that. He set exactly that up. It's like he's got light bulbs with little batteries incorporated in them, and he just snaps them on there, and they just charge all day, and they're actually lit all day because, like, let's say like in midday you have like a lot more sun, so you have a lot more energy going into the tree, so those ions are flowing much faster. So you can have more electricity, but you can interconnect multiple trees to raise the voltage, right? So there's a lot of shit that can be done, dude. That's like so much untapped potential in this nature, man.
That's why permaculture research is essential for the future, brother. And you're on the cutting edge.
I know.
Yeah,
right?
you know, so I'm along there with you, Nicolas. Last year I was up at the Electric Forest Music Festival doing some presentations and had to get into it because, like, I'm at an electrical forest. And I'm like, you know, what kind of research is there on collecting electricity from this vast amount of solar panels we already have that are green and chlorophyll rich? And I looked it up at the time. MIT was doing some research on what they were calling voltage boosters because there's like 0.001 millivolts that come off of a tree per amount of time they were measuring. I don't remember, but it was enough that they made these boosters that would collect that over time. And at a certain point, it would pop and have a volt that could be applied to charging a battery or whatever you wanted.
Yeah.
So that's fascinating to like think about that. I do have to say, I remember talking about it with an indigenous elder who said to me, why are we going to take their electric? But as we spoke about it, we were also kind of realizing that it's the ambient electricity that's coming off the tree and virtually doesn't even harm them the way that it's being developed. It doesn't have to be penetrated into the tree itself. It doesn't have to be, you know, it could be like placed next to the energetic field of the tree itself. If that makes sense. So I'm super fascinated by it. And that's a whole nother episode I'd love to go down to because that's where
you said you're using like copper on your farm to help with your plants to grow them. I can't remember the exact word.
That's electroculture. So there's electricity in the air, right? At 1 meter there's 100 volts, and the more you go up, the more electricity there is. But you can capture that electricity and come stimulate the microorganic life in your soil. So it's as simple as grabbing a piece of wood and wrapping a piece of copper wire around the piece of wood and sticking it in the ground. And now you have a piece of copper that's harvesting ambiance electricity and now coming into the soil and just stimulating all the fungus, all the insects, and it's like just supercharging them, right? You're bringing positive electricity into the soil, and now they decompose better. So now the soil is more bioaccessible, and so electroculture has been proven to increase production by 200 to 300%.
Wow, yeah.
The studies have been done on the food and have shown that they're not only 200 to 300% bigger, they are 30 to 45% more nutrient dense. Okay, and
damn, that's pretty solid, man.
Yes.
Now get this, like digging into that a little bit, I had to look into historics, like when was the last time that in our eastern hardwood forests in North America was there copper laying around naturally, and what did it look like? What descriptions are there? And try to dig into as much as I could with that. And it's, again, a fascinating thing to think about how nature had kind of set that up on its own, but we've picked up all the copper that's on the surface of the earth and moved it around. So now it's like up to us knowing this earth magic, it's science and stuff, but it's like quite incredible. Like, it's very magical and intriguing, and you can mixture, make the copper rivers of things, connect things. And we're connected through copper right now. It's fascinating.
Copper
wonder
does more in electricity, right? It can energize food. It can energize water. It can do a lot of things, and it's also like one of those most disregarded thing, right? Like you can find copper wires everywhere. People just throw them away. And I just bought myself a little wire stripper on freaking on Amazon, and it was like $100. And I stripped like freaking rolls and rolls and rolls and rolls of wire. I got all this free copper. People just throw it away.
Yeah.
It's just,
I wonder
one man's trash is another man's treasure.
if creating a type of copper dust and then sprinkling that around the plants in forests and stuff like that might assist with the natural process of them growing and utilizing that. It'd be kind of an interesting study to do.
Yeah,
possibly.
I know there are studies that show that it does inhibit root growth in certain ways. There's, plumbers used to wrap a little wire around the tile pipes they would put together to avoid maple trees finding their roots through those little cracks. And, so it is interesting how that probably still brought energetics to the soil that enhanced the growth of the maple tree, but there's something about root growth that doesn't want it doesn't want to root directly into copper. And, even with watching people build raised bed gardens with our modern contemporary pressure treated wood that has a lot of copper in it, I've noticed that the plants in these boxes people set up don't produce as much root growth where the wood is because there's copper residue coming out of it. But it probably, again, feeds the soil.
It makes sense. It makes sense because maybe they can't absorb the metal, but if they're within the field that the magnetic field that the copper is generating, the electricity is what helps them. The actual raw metal, maybe not so much. Maybe that's what it is.
Right. Yeah. So there's so much to fun. I love the quest of questions.
Yeah, man. And it's by doing that you're gonna learn. But I'm telling you, it is that easy, man. It's that easy.
Try these things out. People don't just look at them like some cute Instagram post, like, oh, electric culture looks cool. Try it out. Like Nicolas is saying, get out a little wire stripper and strip a couple wires and try it out and see, observe what happens and, try Google culture.
I even put them in my plants. Like I got lemon plants, all these, but they're just in pots, and lemon, limes, and oranges and banana trees. And I just grab a little piece of copper and I twirl it around my finger and make a little little twirl, a little tornado-like thing, and stick it in the ground, and so it helps even on a small scale, right? So you can do it on a small scale, you can do it on a large scale, you can have a freaking 20-foot post in your garden if you want, and it's gonna have a way bigger aura. It has a electromagnetic field like a tree. So the higher you put it up, the larger it is. The electromagnetic field. It's as large as high as it is. So if it goes 20 foot up, then it has a 20-foot radius. So
right. I like how you mentioned it has a similar electro frequency as the height of a tree would have the height of a tree's. It would have its own electro frequency, the height of itself. But just like as we've mentioned again, talking about growing berries and perennials and food forests, that idea of more electricity is probably coming into a food forest than a flat, less textured garden that's just an annual garden, if that makes sense.
Yeah, I think you avoid pests as well by having diversity, right? Because you don't have like a Japanese freaking beetle bug come in just to kill all your apple trees at once. Like you have competition. You have snakes in the grass. You have mouses, and you have foxes that hunt at night, and you have all this life that like helps balance everything out. It's and that's why you have to be willing also to give some of your harvest to nature, right? It's kind of like the way it works. You give a little bit of your raspberries, a little bit of your blueberries, but in exchange they eat all these bugs, and they help establish
like your own ecosystem.
Yeah, as you were talking about how like you got the snakes in the grass and the owl in the trees and the things like that, I was thinking about how too they have you. And that's one thing I really feel called to share right now is that over the years working with my homestead, I really went at it with this kind of consciousness of stewarding the land, but I've gotten to this point where I'm starting to be more aware that it's been stewarding me the whole time, if that makes sense. If it doesn't, explore the
Absolutely.
thought, it's like, that's something to noodle on, and that's my truth.
No, man, I'm getting taught lessons every day in this nature. It's crazy. It's crazy, man. Every day, there's lessons everywhere to be learned. You just got to be willing to listen to them, right? And sometimes I get smacked by it right in the face. I'm like, no way. and you realize that this collaboration that we create in the gardens, it's the same collaboration we need to reestablish as a globe, as humans. We need to start living together, because when we start living, collaborating, exchanging together, then we can accomplish so much more.
Yeah.
And if we're integrated with our ecosystem, it'll be a healthier ecosystem rather than us just throwing garbage on top of it.
Captain.
Yep.
So.
Well, I think on that note, guys, I'm going to call it a night.
This was incredible. I appreciate you so much, Nicholas. Appreciate you so much, Star Captain. This has been a ride.
Appreciate it, buddy.
Look forward to producing this and getting this out there to people and sharing it in other realms.
Wake the farm up.
Before we shut her down,
words.
Do you want to share the link site in the nest, or throw it in the bottom down below, or just say it and I'll throw it up there, so that anyone that listens to this afterwards, because it's recorded as well on X, that they'll be able to look into your content.
The simplest source would be to go to www.wakethefarmup.com, and from there'll be links to listen to it in whatever platform you'd like. It'll be on YouTube as a audio. It'll be on Spotify. It'll be on all the different things.
Fire.
Yeah. And so
pleasure to have you here today, good sir. And Nick, it's always a pleasure to have you here, brother. And Watchmaker, you as well. Thanks for joining us.
Absolutely, man. Stay in touch, Henry.
Appreciate you guys.
Wake the farm up. Hey guys, I'm back. Yeah, that was great. That was so cool. I really liked it. Wait, I think I'm back. I think I'm back home now. What's going on? What am I? What about today, oh? What about tomorrow? Tomorrow never comes. So I'm talking about today, oh. When you're gonna say, oh, never come. We're going on your way, hey, 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 oh. What about tomorrow? What about tomorrow? Hey, 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 about tomorrow? It never come. It never come. It's always today, They tell me about tomorrow. They tell me to think about another day, another way, another hey. But I say, hey, wait, oh. They try to tell me it's about tomorrow. Hey, but hey, tomorrow it still may never come. No. So let's talk about playing the drums. Let's go play and see what comes. It's time to go and say it's not just tomorrow. It's still today. Tomorrow never comes. So what about today? What you got to say? I want to hear what you got to say. I want to hear about it today. Enough about tomorrow. No. Tomorrow never comes. What about today? Tomorrow never comes. I said, what about today? Tomorrow never comes. Tomorrow never comes. Let's talk about day they call tomorrow. Tomorrow never, it ain't never come. So what about today? What about today? Come and tell me how. Come and tell me how. Elf, you can stop being a drum machine now. Oh, okay. Yeah, right. I'll do this all night. Let's get down. What? Mixed night now. What's coming in now? Next frequency. Oh. Waltz with the tango. Dance with the tango. Back to the flute. Yo, what? Cut it.